Donald Trump is, of course, famously too stupid to keep his conspiracy story straight. The man is just too stupid.
The line lands like a gavel, yet Trump strolls away as if stupidity were a merit badge. He arrives in Riyadh waving at cameras, the desert sun glinting off hair lacquer and hubris. Diplomats once crossed these sands trading scholarship and statecraft. Trump crosses them hawking hashtags and hotel points. Too stupid to recall a lie, yet shrewd enough to monetize it, he slips through protocol the way grease slides off a gold platter. When journalists press for substance, he counters with spectacle. Beautiful trip, folks, as if adjectives can erase accountability. And while his brain misfiles basic geography, his wallet never forgets an account number. He doesn't negotiate, he impulse buys global influence, jerking a thumb skyward at a gleaming Boeing 747 like a kid pointing at a toy in a mall window. That jet, price tagged at $400 million, should raise alarms in every ethics office from DC to Dhahran. Instead, it raises only his approval rating among sycophants who equate glitter with greatness. So the world watches a president who can't keep a story straight but can keep a straight face while pocketing a flying palace. Yet the real jaw-dropper isn't the plane, it's who he thanks for it. Because when Trump goes looking for gratitude, he finds it in places soaked with something far darker than oil.
Donald Trump, no doubt, took the opportunity to thank the corrupt dictator of Saudi Arabia, who American intelligence sources say ordered the dismemberment murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi during Donald Trump's first presidency, a murder that Donald Trump had absolutely no problem with at the time because he said, of course, we have to keep doing business with murderous dictators like that.
Trump's moral compass isn't broken, it's been pawned. Presented with a murder so grisly it shocked seasoned diplomats, he didn't recoil, he recalculated. Khashoggi's fate became a footnote, a bothersome asterisk in the ledger of profitable relationships. Where other leaders speak of red lines, Trump sees green lights, as in petrodollars glowing neon through the fog of dismemberment. He nods solemnly at talk of shared security interests, then flashes that dealmaker grin, eager to seal the next arms contract. To him, the Saudi crown prince isn't a pariah, he's a preferred customer on the Mar-a-Lago loyalty program. And Trump's gratitude? It's the kind you can fold, stack, and wire before close of business. Meanwhile, the message to journalists worldwide is chilling. Freedom of the press is negotiable when the check clears. Even so, Trump's rhetoric somehow manages to sink lower, swapping compassion for commissions. He finds time to scold allies over NATO dues yet shrugs at a bonesaw autocracy because business is business. That transactional worldview pays handsomely, literally billions, as we're about to see. Because after the polite thank yous came the real payoff, tallied not in words but in wire transfers. And that mountain of money is exactly where our story turns next.
Donald Trump has billions of reasons to thank that murderous dictator, Mohammed bin Salman.
Billions. The kind of number that makes accountants day drink and lobbyists salivate. Arms packages, investment pledges, licensing deals, an alphabet soup of acronyms masking a tidal wave of cash. Trump peddles patriotism on stage, but backstage he's tallying every petrodollar like a pit boss at a desert casino. These are not abstract sums, they're life-changing lines and ledgers, fueling construction projects with his surname in 40-foot letters. Each handshake with MBS feels less like diplomacy and more like closing on a skyscraper in a zone where dissent is a felony. And so the president brags, not about peace accords or human rights progress, but about the biggest deals you've ever seen. He monetized the Oval Office better than any influencer could monetize a ring light. Citizens get slogans on baseball caps, he gets liquidity. Yet he still wants credit for generosity, as if laundering brutality through luxury goods were an act of charity. Ironically, all this gilded gratitude sets the stage for his boldest claim, that the $400 million jet is somehow free. Caps lock free. Zero, nada, nothing, if you ignore the part where American taxpayers get stuck with the upgrades. And that caps lock lie is precisely what detonates in the next clip.
That is another one of those Trump lies in capital letters. When someone gives you a gift that you then have to spend several $100 million to make usable, or $1 billion, or $2 billion to make usable, that is not free. Every one of those billions of dollars it will take to make that plane a usable Air Force One will come from American taxpayers.
Only in Trump speak can a $2 billion retrofit be rebranded as a bargain. He slaps free across his Truth Social feed like a clearance sticker on a diamond necklace. But behind that caps lock carnival bark lies a mountain of invoices. Avionics overhauls, encrypted comms, anti-missile flares, each one stamped paid by U.S. citizens. The same taxpayers navigating potholes and prescription copays will now underwrite mahogany credenzas in a dictator's gift. Meanwhile, Trump spins it as proof of his legendary deal-making, crowing that no other president ever negotiated such generosity. Generosity here meaning accepting a bribe so large it needs its own runway. He frames it as a win for America, though the only winner is the man reclining in a leather seat embossed with his own initials. And if you dare question the math, you're labeled unpatriotic, because apparently patriotism is now measured in square footage of imported marble. Yet the greatest irony isn't the price tag, it's the purpose. Because Trump's grand plan isn't to serve the Republic in this aircraft, it's to keep it as a parting gift, a souvenir from the world's most transactional presidency. Which brings us to the clincher, the rationale he offers the moment anyone asks, why on earth would you take it?
Donald Trump will use to fly himself around in that Boeing 747 for the rest of his days. It's all about Qatar giving a plane to Donald Trump for his personal use after the presidency. That's what it's for. That's what it's about. And Donald Trump knows that. And the dictator of Qatar knows that. And that's why Donald Trump said, my attitude is, why wouldn't I accept a gift?
Why wouldn't I? A question so revealing it could be etched on his presidential library right between the food court and the gold elevator. For Trump, public office has always been a rewards program where every ethical compromise earns bonus miles. Now he's cashed them in for a flying penthouse courtesy of an autocrat who knows influence is cheaper by the barrel. He'll soar above the very regulations he gutted, sipping Diet Coke at 40,000 feet while posting memes about fake news. Below, teachers buy markers out of pocket and veterans fight bureaucracy for benefits, but their taxes keep the jet fueled and the Wi-Fi streaming. Foreign policy scholars will puzzle for decades over how a superpowers leader accepted a blood-soaked bribe in plain sight and called it diplomacy. Yet to Trump, it's simple algebra. If the price of loyalty is a plane and the penalty for shame is zero, the rational choice is obvious. So he shrugs, pockets the keys and rolls the staircase away, leaving democracy taxiing on an empty tarmac. In that moment, the economist, the ethicist, and the activist all reach the same grim conclusion. It wasn't just a jet, it was a proof of concept that the highest office in the land can be rented by the highest bidder. And if this is the precedent, the next question isn't what he'll take, but whether anything sacred remains that he won't. Donald Trump is not a glitch in the system, he is the system stripped of shame. A man whose moral compass was never broken because it was never installed. He doesn't lie because he has to, he lies because it's instinct. Like breathing or boasting, facts are only useful if they flatter. Truth is optional, integrity is for suckers. He moves through life like a wrecking ball in a red tie, destructive, loud, and always convinced the noise is applause. He calls cruelty strength, sells cowardice as strategy, and spins chaos into political theater. Every relationship is transactional, every opponent is an enemy, every ally a future betrayal. He praises dictators, mocks the dead, ridicules the weak, and still demands loyalty like a king without a crown. Caught red-handed, he doesn't back down, he brags. There's no depth too deep, no lie too absurd, no spotlight too toxic. And when gifted a golden jet by a murderer, he didn't flinch, he smiled. Because this wasn't a betrayal of character, it was character, on full display, greedy, vain, unchecked, flying 30,000 feet above shame, above law, and always above responsibility. If you've made it this far and still believe truth matters, even when it stings, subscribe, because in a world flooded with noise, we're here to speak what others won't, and sometimes the truth wears satire like armor.